Hey there, and welcome to WeTalking, the podcast where we dive deep into the heart of Caribbean life, culture, and everything in between. We're here to chat, laugh, and share stories celebrating our vibrant Caribbean heritage. So grab a cool drink, sit back, and join the conversation as we bring the warmth and rhythm of the islands straight to your ears. This is We Talking, where every episode is a Caribbean vibe and a step towards unity and inclusion. Let's get talking, boys.
And welcome back, guys, to Be Talking, a podcast series where we focus on everything Caribbean men. Today, I have in the studio with me Sam, aka Samuel Boston,
Hey,
and Jonathan. And today, we are talking brotherhood. So, today, we're taking a break from the heavier topics that we usually have, and we're going to appreciate something central across all of our lives, and that is our friendships. We often talk about the pressures and expectations that men face, but there's so much joy and strength that comes with male friendships, particularly in the Caribbean setting, right?
for sure.
From from liming, to rallying around each other in times of need, celebrating the light, the fun, and supportive side of brotherhood. So we're gonna dive deep into this, and I would let the guests before we dive in deep into this, I'll go around and let you briefly introduce yourselves. We'll start with Jonathan first.
Okay, cool, man. No problem. So, yes, as said previously, my name is Jonathan Daniel. I'm the founder of an organization by the name of Positive Vibes Creative Revolution. The goal of that organization is basically to influence the youth in a positive way using social media. So, what we tend to do, we look for issues in society and we strive to find like a creative way, whether it be a video about music or dance or a message or whatever the case may be, and we try to use that to then capture that and make that into something digital and share it on social media for influence to influence positively the youth.
Cool. Sounds like good stuff. Funny enough, when Sam mentioned you, I knew your word, but I didn't know you. Yeah, it told
Yeah,
Sam
it's
that I
what
was
is
watching
man.
your
It's
work.
what is.
Sam brings us
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
What about
man.
you, Sam? Who is Sam?
That's actually one of the things that I feel like I want to capitalize on, bringing people together. That's what I love to do. Whether it be in a community space, whether it be on certain topics relating to youth especially, I love to make sure that people that I know each other and we can work together. So my whole MO really is bringing people together and seeing how much it can help. I've done some work with the YMCA in terms of volunteering with their programs and helping young people kind of get ready for the world of work, getting those soft skills and really building their character and their development while they're there with us on evenings. And then also with the younger students in primary school, I would have been there helping them with things like homework and getting their hand-eye coordination back together after that long stretch of COVID and everyone just being inside. But yeah, I've worked with a number of other youth organizations like Positive Vibes as well, with my brother John, and then with a couple of others as well. I'm essentially just there to help. That's what my whole thing is. I want to help young people go forward. I want to help us as a country get to the next level. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, you saying that reminds me of a saying that we had for you. Sam, the man with the plan. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, so thank you so much for being on here.
Thanks for having me.
For those who are accustomed listening, not the usual voices today, we're missing Master Greg and Tion, but they'll be back shortly. And we do have an exciting episode coming next month. So let's kind of slowly get into talking about friendships, particularly in Caribbean culture. Where would you start if you were to describe specifically what you would deem like, brotherhood, like, your male friends? How was that relationship to you, particularly in the Caribbean culture? How would you describe that?
I think it's very nuanced. It's not the same for everybody.
Let's go.
It depends on your culture, it depends on your background, your ideals, and what you believe in. Sometimes your boy, your friend, is the fellow that you happen to go play football with, and that's how you connect. Sometimes it's the people that you meet at the rum shop every week, and then just over time, you get that bond. In the position with me and Jonathan, we're actually with a mentor of ours, Earl Griffith. He was out of school. We just saw each other that day, and we clicked since then. We've had like so many conversations. We've had so many times where we were literally in the trenches working on stuff together, giving what we had to make sure that certain things happen. And then over that period of time, you get to see somebody grow, and you say, yeah, like I am done with supporting this person like, through anything. and I've been able to have that with Jonathan. So our bro got married and everything, which is something that I say is normal, yes, but still not normally our age group.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
seeing that at a very young age, he wasn't 30 yet, you know.
Yeah.
Our bro was married. I was able to see that and like see his relationship like unfold. They got to become like a part of another family by proxy because of that and all these different things. So yeah, it's nuanced, but is necessary. It's needed. Our young men need that tribe to be a part of that group, that community, whether it be block, whether it be people even at work that you kind of thing with. But yeah, all that's important.
I find, just two things, I'm waiting until my other male friends, aka one of them being you, let's speed up the process. I need to be at a wedding.
Yeah, I'm not really getting married yet.
Wait.
Who knows? Maybe next year. Maybe
You need
who
godchildren,
knows?
kids.
Yeah, we gotta get on.
But I think one of the things that I like that you mentioned in my notes. So you were clearly peeping in my notes. Talking about the hanging out factor and the liming factor. I think maybe that's like one of the fundamental spaces. I mean, for me particularly, I've met some of my close friends in some of the most random situations ever.
Yeah.
Like absolutely random. Like, there's a friend of mine that I never thought we would have ever been this close because of how we met.
Mm.
But over the years, we just clicked.
Okay.
But yeah, I like that you said that. What about you, Jonathan? How would you describe?
First, I want to address something you just said, like that really resonated with me. One of my, two of my best friends, our relationship actually started out with me resenting them. Like I actually never saw it happening, and then like it just happened. I think I just got to a place where I realized like I really appreciate this person as a person, and like I don't want this person to not be there, And then it grew from there. But for me, I see in terms of friendship, I see that being like someone you could talk to about anything, like someone that you don't have to feel like you have to. For me personally, I also too feel like for a lot of people, like someone you could just be yourself with and just open and you can have that dialogue with, because sometimes that's all you really need, like just a person that to listen, when you're going, whether it be you going through something, whether it be something great just happened, to share that moment with. So I definitely see it as that. But for me, in the deeper context of when it comes now to brotherhood, I see that as someone who genuinely wants the best for you, who wants to see you become the best version of yourself. And I think that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, cool. Interesting. So how would you, if we were to be all philosophical, etc. If there was three things you would seek to define, particularly your friendship. So I mean, let's break it up a little bit. What are the three dynamics that you have within that you see commonly across your friendships?
Okay. First of all, sense of humor. I feel like if that's a one thing that transcends, the jokes may be different. Sometimes when, let's say you're on Instagram and like you send a memes to a friend, there's like certain memes that you will send to one friend, and then all right, yeah, because of the context of your relationship or whatnot, having a sense of humor, being able to communicate through laughter in any situation, I think that's really important. Then understanding, empathy is really, really something that's a must. I mean, how human are you if you're not empathetic, Because similar to what Jonathan said, sometimes we go through different things, and then the people that we kind of need to support us, I think they should be able to understand you at different levels of life. So you at different frequencies when things are good and you're jovial. Yeah. But then when you go through something that's like really traumatic or something that's like hurtful, or something that just pisses you off, they need to be able to understand you at that space. And once you understand people in that wide range, I think it's more likely that our friendship is gonna go long terms. And then respect. Every important relationship in life is built on respect. Because then once you understand respect, not just for yourself, which is important, but for the other person in that friendship, there are certain barriers that you're not going to cross regardless, because you see the relationship as something sacred, because you see that person as valuable to you. And once there's respect, that leaves room for so much growth. Because sometimes you need to hear hard truths. And if you know for a fact this person doesn't respect you and they need to tell you that hard truth, you're less likely to listen. But okay, my boy Nako has my best interest at heart. He's not gonna steer me wrong because he has that love of respect for me and I for him. If he has to tell me something that I need to like shape up on, I'm gonna listen to it because it's coming from him. So yeah, humor for sure, empathy and respect.
I want to be slight devil's advocate in terms of when you talk about respect, because I think respect. You mentioned respect, and I always find that interesting because obviously sometimes in understanding and building that respect, I don't want to say there's a form of disrespect, but it's like you're kind of testing the waters to
Yeah,
to
that
figure out
happens,
like
for sure.
where your boundaries are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not like a situation where it's like you automatically know this person and say this is his thing. Because I mean, we've all done it. You
Yeah.
like test it, like, and like
sure, yeah.
this one, nah. Like,
Yeah.
But I would argue it's actually inevitable. Like at some point during the friendship, it's not always highs. Sometimes there are lows. Sometimes there's disagreements and there's a lot of different things. So at some point in time, inevitably, no matter how hard you try to be respectful of the friendship, there'll be times that you may do things that may be disrespectful. But again, no, it's how then you handle that, how then you manage that.
For sure.
You know, if you own that you messed up, or if you own that, or if you then like, deny that or double down on it, you know. So again, I think it's all a part of the growth. I think it's actually necessary because it helps you also too to be a better person, because when you get checked by someone you respect, it makes you want to be better, it makes you want to do better and putting the effort to do that, especially when you know that this person knows you to a deeper level and they know and they're encouraging you to be better because they know you have that within you, you know. So yeah, for sure, I think that's all a part of it to me.
I think even having this question makes me remember something that just recently happened between us. And it kind of like fell on those three topics actually, because it started off as humor. I was making a joke to make a point, but everybody that I said that joke to, they missed the point.
they miss.
Right? So in them missing the point, and me not really communicating as well as I should have in that moment, it came across in a really bad way, a way that I didn't even mean, right? And I needed some empathy from him. He had realized at that point that I just messed up what he said, like for real. Even thinking back on it, using empathy myself, thinking about it was kind of messed up what he said and where he said it as well. And then from him understanding, okay, well, given the situation, there are other variables at play here. I'm not gonna hold him to that. We were able to have a genuine conversation on the whole matter, and then even coming down to respect, understanding, okay, well, I may not have meant it in this particular way. That's not the line that was going on, but this is how it was actually perceived, not just by my friend here, but from other people as well.
And again,
Coming
even
back to that, it was like, yeah. And
Sorry.
we were able to resolve it and whatnot, and then like you move on from that. That was a case where the respect again was tested, and then it showed the values, the friendship. So for sure, you were saying something.
yeah, even with you mentioning that, it actually caused me to think about emotional maturity.
Start reading my notes, man.
I think that has a big factor in terms of how long any relationship will last in your life, you know. And even in situation where someone has wronged you, how will you then respond to that? Will you go straight then to like the feelings of it, the emotions, the anger, whatever the case may be, or would you go past that and really see, okay, what was really going on? Even though like I may know this guy, whatever the case may be, I know him not to be this person, I know him not to be that person. So let me find out from him first before I assume anything like what's really happening, you know?
Yeah.
And then having that dialogue, and then that creates a space where there could be amends could be made, where you could, even if things were misconstrued, everything could be out in the open, and there could be a dialogue about what you really meant by what you said, and
Sure.
what you were and what you weren't trying to do. And then that's where really amends could then be made. But if you go straight into the emotion, like this man disrespect me, this is they're gonna do da 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 da, like that's not gonna help the situation. You know, that's really gonna harm the situation.
Sure.
And for me, even in how we handled that, I would even thought about if roles were reversed in that situation. Like if I was the one known then that had wronged Sam, I would hope he won't be like quick to like want to terminate the friendship or like do bad on me basically. I would hope that he would like come and have a conversation with me first and we could talk about things first, you know? Yeah. So the truth of the reality is none of us are perfect. And at some point in time, we are gonna make a mistake. So how are you gonna handle when others make a mistake? Are you gonna handle it the way you would want to be handled when you make a mistake? So these are things that like I think about all the time, and I think the level of relationship, the level of friendship we have, these are the type of conversations we have. So it's like
For sure.
when things happen, it's not even about the thing; it's about how we then handle it. I think that's what really determines the longevity of any relationship.
I want to be devil's advocate because what all of what you said, Sam and Jonathan, are great. But core to what you've been saying is, and I want to just stories out there. I thought men aren't supposed to have emotions, right?
Mm.
I thought, I mean,
Yeah, I get, yeah, for sure. Like we came up on the same programming too, but then you gotta look at yourself. You gotta look at your community and say, okay, well, hiding emotions, what I mean, has been doing this to my cousins. It's been doing this to my neighbors. Do I want the same thing for me? From that, then it's like, okay, how do I then unpack some of the things that I've been holding back on in the past? And how's it affected my relationship with other people? How's it impacted my relationship with other friends? Do I want to continue that, or do I want to do something different for myself? Am I going to be true to myself and the growth and what I envision myself becoming? Or am I going to allow society's expectations of me to box me in this corner that could be very damaging to me and to the people around me, you know?
yeah, because I mean, I asked the question, but I think a part of brotherhood
Yeah.
is having that emotional understanding. Like today in the car,
Yeah.
I said something to Sam without saying something to Sam. And Sam picked up
on
what
it.
I was talking about. And Sam was instantly
Yeah.
able to pick up as to what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And then I think too, from my own personal experiences, like the reality is sometimes, we, technical jargon calls it the man box, blah, blah, blah. But having that portray in terms of not showing emotions and not showing vulnerability, we have a kind of an internal phrase with the executive team where we say vulnerability is key. And it truly is key because there's so many factors in life. When we talk about mental component, being vulnerable in the mental component, life is stressful for everybody.
Yep.
Regardless of background, regardless of class, regardless of everything, life is stressful. It can be very much stressful. And oftentimes the lack of emotion or the perceived lack of emotion makes things worse than what they really are, right? Obviously for brotherhood, you want to feel comfortable, and kind of reflecting on my own personal experiences, things that I thought my male close friends would be like, nah, but man. When I actually got the courage to actually tell them, it was a totally different perspective. And it relieved a lot in me for so many reasons, right? So in all of that preamble, right? How would you guys describe in terms of the importance of emotional vulnerability? We understand that emotional vulnerability is important in friendships, right? But I really want to screw in what are your guys' thoughts on emotional vulnerability, specifically when dealing with your boys, when dealing with your bros?
I would say it was pivotal to my own personal growth and development. And I remembered the first time like I met, again, they're my best friends today. But the first time I met a group of guys I could talk to about anything, and not just things that sound cool to talk about like the party last night or the fight that happened yesterday or something. Like I could talk about like real stuff that's going on with me, that's bothering me, my insecurities, all of these different things. I It felt so liberating to have that, but I was so young and I didn't really know what was happening. All I knew was these conversations. I want conversations like this to keep happening, and I realized that it was only certain people I could have this conversation with, because when I would try to have conversations like this with other people, it'd be like, big man, like ain't that deep, or what you talking about, or like, boy, we up on that, you know. So I think that having that space is like so important. And what I've come to realize is not a lot of people don't have those spaces to have those conversations. And I can't imagine what that is like, because I remember, like, as a result of having that space to talk about certain things, I realized certain things I was doing or certain things I indulged in, I was only doing it because other people around me was doing it. It wasn't even necessarily that I liked doing it or whatever the case may be. It was just like it was socially or culturally accepted, so like I just did it. But then when I had the space to like really talk and be myself and like, express myself and have like persons that question me about myself, and I realized certain things like I actually don't really like doing this. I actually only was doing this because I wanted to impress people around me, or I wanted to keep up appearances or whatever the case may be. But this is actually not me. And when I came to that realization within myself, it actually helped me to build up my will to just be myself and allow myself to be myself regardless of who accepted me. And because I had my circle that accepted me, it didn't necessarily matter if other people outside decided, you know what, like, nah, you're not cool no more, bro. You can't hang around wherever the case may be. That didn't matter anymore. Because I already had my people, and I knew with my people that was what I really wanted in a friendship. I didn't want the shallow. I wanted like depth to my friendship. I wanted that emotional intelligence. I wanted to have persons that I could really, if I'm going through something rough, I could really listen and be there and question me, ask me, or whether if I do something wrong, I could check me on it and be like, bro, this is not you, you just do, you know. So that space has done like so much for me. And whenever like I meet people and we have discussions and stuff, and they tell me, oh, what you saying is good, like, where you get this from? I'm always like crediting that to the space I was allowed to have from like a young age, having my best friends around and being able to talk about certain things. So yeah, I think it's pivotal in terms of who you then decide to become. Because again, if I never had that, I would have never even known what was missing. I probably would have just continued doing the things I was doing to keep appearances and just doing these things. And before I know it, I would have attributed those things to me. I would have said, oh, this is just me. I was just doing this from young. But was that ever really me? Or was I only, because I was doing it for other people and I was doing it for so long, I've now told myself that this is me, you know? So yeah, it goes really deep, man. Really
Yeah,
does.
I think I wanted to again plug WeTalking Boys, because that's very much how WeTalking Boys was started, right?
For sure. Yeah.
A group of 3, 4. Sorry, can't remember the exact number. That's really bad. But
Wow.
can't remember the exact number. That's really bad. As co-founder, chair, that's really bad. But all right, y'all got me thinking.
Actually, the
Yeah, got me.
Pull out the figures. Sorry.
I could remember about 4 guys, right?
Yeah.
4 guys. Yeah, 4 is the number. 4 is the number. 4 number.
Yeah.
You know, coming out of conversations from, you know, and again, this is a kind of a funny introduction as to how WeTalking Boys actually really started. WeTalking Boys started as a WhatsApp group chat. How that WhatsApp group chat turned into a WhatsApp group chat was because one person was tired of forwarding the same messages to 4 other persons, right?
Oh.
So instead of forwarding the same message to 4 other persons, one group chat was created. And some of them didn't even know who each other were at the time, right? Realistically speaking.
Yeah.
And from that group chat, we found space, as you said. Obviously, it started, you know, let's be real, conversations and getting to know people. It's not necessarily going to, you don't just jump in the 6 foot side of the pool, right?
Right.
So you build that relationship, and then eventually we started to talk about heavy things, and then we all started to talk about, you know, home masculinity, and from the conversations about masculinity and needing space, WeTalking Boys was essentially created.
Wow.
So I totally understand what you're saying, and you know, having that space, I think, does a lot more for you, because in life it carries so much things, and I mean, particularly as a male navigating Caribbean space, there's even more things we have to carry because society says that we can't be this, we can't be that.
Right.
And just, I mean, it doesn't have to be, we're speaking of groups of friends. It really does not have to be a group of people, right? Just having that one person you can confide with. And you begin to see a lot of personal growth, because I've seen it as well, particularly. And not everybody agrees with you. And I think that's one thing that has to be key, right? The reality is there are many things that some of my friends speak and argue the whole day about.
Yeah.
We have, and some of them are, you know, have very strong views. So at some point, somebody got to be like, let's agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Because if we don't agree to disagree, there's going to be a conversation going on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, for me, navigating, even terms like best friend, I don't necessarily use them. I just find best friends weird. I don't know, but
What is it with you and best friend? What's your?
I just find it weird.
Is there a to pit with it?
I really don't know. I think I
Makes
just,
you uncomfortable.
I don't know, maybe, but I just find best friend, like, maybe I'm thinking like you're like maybe my line of thought is kind of like how the term prime minister came about. Like the like sorry, it goes that deep, but like, I just find it weird. Like there's not necessarily, best friends in terms of that hierarchy per
yeah.
se,
I get
but
that.
it's just a group of people that you are close to,
For
right?
sure.
Because you can have more than one best friend.
I think
I have multiple.
yeah, I think it depends on like which area in your life you know them from too. Like your connection to them might be different. So for you to then try to put a ranking that you said on which friend,
Yeah, and I mean, let's be real. We all have that one friend we could call no and say, let's go to St. Lawrence Gap, and they're gonna come, right?
Yeah.
You have friends, but not. I don't want to sound bad, but there are friendships they're friends that you have, and kind
sure.
of their area, effectively their area of expertise.
Yeah,
I could have
yeah.
said that better,
Yeah.
but
I think that's what
effectively,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
their
Yeah,
area of expertise.
Yeah.
You know if you or we you know who is going to when you call. Or you want to go partying, you know that one buddy that can always say yes, even though the work the whole day, the morning time, and they calling out people without calling out people.
Oh, shoot.
Then you have that one friend that
You might want to go hiking with. And they quiet and they will.
hikes off to you, people that's hike. I've
Yeah,
been seeing all-
shout to the hikers.
I've been seeing all from the earliest on the morning. It's like crazy, but it's just like no. But then you have that friend that at 1 o'clock in the morning, you just call, and for some strange reason, you just have the most deepest conversation you've ever had in your life at the most strangest times, and you two are doing, you're either sleeping or you're doing something so random that's like, they call, right?
Yeah.
Then let's be real, you also have those friends that when they call at 1, you just watch the phone and think, wait, this is what they calling me, but you answer nonetheless. You answer nonetheless, and then obviously, the conversation goes from there. But we mentioned in terms of particularly the evolution of brother, that's what I call them. I call them brothers and sisters or family friend,
Yeah.
or friends that are like family. That's how I describe my close friends instead of using best friends. But you mentioned obviously the evolution of relationships, more specifically friendships. Could you highlight, for example, the importance of consistency during that time? I know you would have mentioned, that sometimes you'd always see eye to eye,
Right.
but consistency in the sense of, being there, etc. How
I
would you
think
measure that?
There's two ways to measure it. There's consistency in terms of the amount of time that you put in. And then there's consistency in terms of the emotion, the understanding that you have. When they say that, I mean, you say there's some people that you would meet now and you're all good, but then because of life and all these different things, you don't see them again till like another 3 years, 2 months, 5 years, who knows. But then when you meet again, it's like if you all sport last week or the day before, because there's a consistency in terms of how you view the person and the place that person holds in your heart, and then there's like the time, we meet every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. at the bar, and we all want to go get and you build, but both are valuable in different ways. One doesn't necessarily cheapen the other, but consistency being important to friendship, whether it's again like how you view that person, how you see each other, and how your spirits being on the same frequency connect every time you all meet, or are you having that time and place that you meet, or you message each other every day? Both can be important, but both take some kind of work, whether it's present or whether it's over like long-term communication or whatnot, and both deserve to be like taken care of, to be cultivated in some sort of way. Let's say like for the friend that's like long distance that you don't see every day.
I have a few of those ways.
Yeah, checking in every once in a while. Sometimes just feeling the temperature for where they're at is sometimes necessary, and being honest with them too in terms of where you're at in life and whatnot. Whenever that meeting happens, I think it kind of helps to keep the space clear, keep it clean, and keep the friendship growing. So yeah, that's important for sure.
What was the question again?
No, I was asking the importance of consistency.
I think there are a lot of different types of friendships, as Sammy would have said, in terms of sometimes you go through things in life and sometimes you just need space. Or sometimes you meet a person and one time you guys have an amazing friendship, but right now that's you're not at the same you guys not at the same places in life, but then you get back at the same place and you reconnect again and the friendship is there again, you know. So there are a lot of different types of friendships. I would say, like for example, my first person I would consider best friend was in primary school. I know you have a problem with that.
I like how everybody knows that. Right? He said best friend.
Well, yeah, like he was the first person like I could tell you what he thinking. Like he had like for example, he had like anger issues and I used to try to talk to him and try to get him to stay cool and keep calm and don't too quick to act out and stuff. And we got so close. I remember when I heard that he was like leaving Barbados to live in America, like I felt crushed. Like I was just like, bro, like I don't like because the type of friendship I had with him, it was almost like I felt I would never have anything like this again because like there's not like anything I've ever felt before, you know. And yeah, when he left, that was tough for me. And then a long time. I remember it took me a while to come to terms with it and to even deal with it. I even think I got some issues as a result because then I think I got issues in terms of saying goodbye to people or like letting go or opening back up myself again to become attached to people like that because I felt like I don't want to feel like that again. So let me not open back up myself, you know. And funny enough, his sister came back to Barbados a few years ago, and I found her, reconnected with her, and it was just like, yo, what happened to my bro? Like, how he doing? How things? And like, yeah, she told me like story and stuff. He got in prison and stuff, and like, and that's the thing. Like, as much as it was tough, and I didn't like what I was saying. It was just like I could see that was happening. It felt like I was the person like compassing him, like away from that, like helping him deal with that, manage that, you know. And she gave me his number, and she was just like, yo, he out now. Like, you could message him and stuff. And I remember I just felt so pressured. Like when I said hey, but it was like I didn't know what to say because it was like I wanted to say everything and then like, I didn't want to say anything, and it was just like so much, you know. And yeah, like those moments, like even though like I wonder like, is it that this friendship is still meant to happen, or is it like just that was just that time in my life? I know like we are two different places, you know, but I still appreciate everything that I learned out of that friendship. I still appreciate that experience. I still hold on to like the memories that we had, you know. And I think it's really important to be able to again when you all you want for that person is the best. Sometimes it's not including you, and I think that is something that I had to learn, and it wasn't easy because I had another best friend that he was leaving Barbados to work, and he was leaving for good. And a part of me was like so happy for him because this is what he always wanted. This is what I knew that's what he needed. But another part of me was just like, he leaving though, like why he leaving? Like, I don't really want you to leave. Like I remember sometimes he would mention stuff that may possibly stop him from being able to leave, and I would be like, shh, what keep doing?
You know, it's like, like
and I remember like the day like he was like, yeah, bro, like this is the last time you can see me, and I was just like, bro, this one was best for you. Like I'm happy for you. In this moment, like I had to let go, like my selfish desires, like what I wanted, and like really look at him and see like what he needed and want that for him, even if I wasn't gonna be in the picture anymore, you know. And he's back in Barbados today, so I won in the end. But yeah, like we're back now, and the friendship is just as stronger, even stronger than it was before. And but at the same time, he needed that. He needed that experience when he left, and he was living over there, lived over there for a couple of years, I recall. And even though back being here, he's actually glad to be back here. But he said at that point in time, he knew that's what he needed.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a pivotal moment in terms of, it was kind of in a way a test to the friendship. Was I gonna be like, nah, like you leaving and like be selfish about it and just like distance myself and not reach out or not talk to him anymore? Or was I gonna continue to be a friend even if that meant like letting go while still having those deep feelings of friendship, you know? So yeah, I think it goes both ways, man.
So we can transition into a quick activity. I think this is oftentimes we, as males, don't necessarily openly appreciate our friends. or just simply say, I got you, bro. But again, the focus of this activity is kind of like looking to celebrate and acknowledge friendships that you have, that I have, and appreciate the meaningful role that these relationships play in our lives. So what we're gonna do is we're calling it the Friendship Appreciation Circle. Not necessarily a circle in terms of the formation that we're in right now.
Yeah, we definitely.
But each of us would take a turn
Mm-hmm.
to express the appreciation for a friend or a group of friends, I should say, and talking about what we value most in their friendship. So I can encourage you to dig a little bit of what we value most in their friendship, and maybe just highlight a moment when that friend or that friendship group was there for you, or a memory that stands out that is a defining moment, particularly for that group. And as we go around, maybe we could just quickly, as very short discussions about how making time to appreciate friends particularly strengthens the bond. And we want to remind our listeners who are men of the importance of acknowledging, and I'm going to say it deliberately, acknowledging love and acknowledging the support, particularly when it comes to male friendships. So Sam, let's deep in thought. I don't know if that means he wants to go first.
Wait,
or...
wait, did you do that? I was like, why not?
I made
Why
first
not
last
that?
time.
We're not gonna go first. Anyway, but yeah, you saying that it really made me think about both of you guys. We've been friends.
Interesting. I thought he was going to use somebody else.
Yeah.
No, like, since we're in the room right now, let me give you guys your roses. Renako.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I met you first. because I met you first, right? I met you like just a couple months before Jonathan. I was actually telling him this the other day, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, we met at we met at an internship, and the Renako I knew then and the Renako I know now are vastly different on so many levels. Don't laugh. I mean this in the best way possible. In some other ways too, but right now, immediately the best way possible, bro. I've seen you have to overcome a lot of different obstacles emotionally in the way that you viewed yourself and what you want to become. I've seen you become what you hope for.
Interesting.
I've seen you say, I want to be in this place. I want to do certain things. I'm not sure how yet. And I've seen you do it. I've seen you take the brush and put it to the canvas and like create the art that you want for your life. You miss a couple spots, there are a few smudges there. But you didn't go to art class, so I'm gonna respect that. And I don't think any of us really know how to paint fully because we don't have that perspective fully. But I've seen you do that, and I respect that so much, Renako. I've seen you show up for a lot of other friends as well. You're somebody that have been consistent in that regard. When somebody needs you, whether it's a family member, whether it's one of us as the boys, you've always managed to pull through for us.
Shout out to Mission Purell.
Mission Purell, yes, that's
it.
That's a group chat. That's the
current group chat.
Current group chat name, yeah, it changes. But yeah, I respect that so much about you. I've seen you take on hard challenges and tasks and like, you know what, I could do this and pull through. Seen you as somebody that's like really quiet and shy, come forward and lead a group and lead an organization and lead a whole faculty on campus at one point.
Those
Days, right?
Yeah.
Because you knew you could. And I respect that. So hats off to you, toast to you, and the humor as well. I appreciate that. we have our own sense of humor.
It's needed.
And that's gone us through some messed up times and we've been able to laugh on it. So yeah. And for my boy Jonathan, I feel like if we're probably legit related. Every time we think about it, like we may actually be actual family, we just don't know it yet.
Just don't know yet.
We just don't know it yet.
Go to the archives.
My relationship with Jonathan has been one that I value a lot. Probably like top 5. I'm not gonna say best friends or not called. I know how you feel about that. Yeah, for real. I've had some conversations with Jonathan that literally changed my life. I remember realizing that I found it hard to ask for help. And like,
We've been there. I think
you
we've
understand,
all
like,
been there.
and because of our conversations, I was actually able to pinpoint to the moment in time in life when it was like, I'm not gonna ask people for help. I don't want to be a burden on people, and all these different things came up. And we had that discussion. I remembered one conversation we had at the beginning of the year. It was like, yo, we need to like really put things in perspective and all that.
Yeah.
And that conversation changed my life as well, because I recognize how much more I need to value myself. I realize how my lack of self-esteem debilitated me in so many other areas of life, and being honest in that moment with him, being able to like not being afraid to be judged or anything, just say what it was. I realized how much I didn't value myself, and how my getting to that understanding has changed my trajectory for this year, and how it's helped me to develop and grow and become more than I would have imagined on January this year. And that's only been a couple months. It hasn't been a full year. So I respect you guys so much. You guys have been an inspiration to me. You guys have been rocks in different areas of my life. And I've become a better person, a better leader in some instances, and a better friend because of y'all. So cheers.
We should have
I
less time started first way. That was,
You can't talk that way. You can't talk that way.
yeah, because I know we said we discuss afterwards, but I mean I think that was quite clear. Yeah, I don't really got much to say. Interesting that I'll just speak on in terms of my part, but interesting that you were able to. There were certain things, that you always have to describe yourself to yourself at some point.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that I noticed in myself that I don't necessarily share with anybody, but obviously clearly you suggesting, you noting some of those things means that, I'm doing something good.
For sure.
I'm doing
For
something
sure.
good.
I would say again, my person would be Sam. I think is the only fear. For sure, I would say in Sam, like I've seen like a lot of growth in Sam. I've seen him. Like, yeah, again, the person I would have met when I first met Sam to the person I know today, there've been so much growth, and the conversations we've always had. Like you say, like my conversations with you were life changing for you, but I would argue they were life changing for me too, because like again, just having that space. So many times you were talking, and I maybe even sharing something where you were trying to encourage you. But I realized like I also like really speaking
need
to
this
myself
too.
too. Like I need this as much as I'm saying this to him,
Yeah.
and just having that person that you could genuinely have those conversations with. And I find with Sammy especially, like the conversations like we have is like different to the conversations I would have with anybody else. I feel like our friendship is like so unique in that way in terms of like everybody else. And I just want to say like I've been always like so proud of this guy. Like this guy's been in putting in the work. He's been doing stuff for youth. He's been participating in so many different organizations. He's been like
A long while.
I've voted this guy for like prime minister in the next couple of years, bro. Like he really been doing the most, And I know like he has a genuinely good heart for people. Like he's the type of guy he genuinely will like, look out for you and like make sure. Even when I got married, like I would never put this on him, but he was just like, bro, like if you're responsible for like your marriage, bro, to make sure that you guys like stay together and stay strong,
Interesting.
And like I don't think I've ever said this thing before, but that meant so much to me, Like I didn't even tell this guy anything or anything, but he felt so strongly about me as a brother in the way of a brother, that he felt like he was responsible in that way, And I've genuinely seen him like live up to that, and I really really appreciate him in every way, man. Just you're an amazing dude, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Woo! I don't know how I can tell it to them. But, I'll go into detail. Well, I guess, first of all, I'll pick point Sam, but I'll do it is, first of all, I think one of the persons that I quickly noticed would be kind of a pillar in my life is Kadeem. It kind of sucks that he's not in Barbados currently,
Oh, no.
but every now and again, you check in or whatever. But through life in general, funny how I even met Kadeem, because, that's the whole funny story. But they've just been that person. You can go to any time, call at any random time, that type of person. And I think, you spoke about my development. I think a lot of part of my development was just having that person to not keep thoughts within my head. Because I think sometimes, as we as people, maybe sometimes, educated people, educated men, we could kind of get lost in our own heads. Let's be real.
Yeah, sure.
And we need to get out. And I really do appreciate how that friendship has evolved. Particularly with you, Sam. I think you were kind of a slightly different story in the sense that there was something that I had to tell you. And I generally, as I was telling you the other day, I felt as though that was going to be the end of our friendship. I generally thought I was going to be ending the friendship. So to have you here, recorded a podcast episode,
Yeah, it did end, guys.
it clearly didn't end, right?
Yeah.
And there's been so much we've been able to talk about. We've been
Yeah.
able to also like work together from time to time.
Sure.
And I think, that has been an experience. I kind of seeing how you've grown as well and how we all have grown collectively as a group. Oh, God. And I think one of the things that I appreciate about you, Sam, is that, you're very down to earth. And many times in life, persons aren't necessarily clear as to what their boundaries are. I mean, knowing you, that came through your evolution in terms of, not evolution as in monkeys, but, but evolution as a person, particularly, and how you were able to handle situations, how you navigate situations. I think that's very much what I appreciate about you. So yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that as well.
Yeah, don't cry in here, yeah, so that was a fun activity, and I feel as though even for us, we had to do a little bit of reflection because oftentimes, how long have I known you, Sam? For God knows how long, and you don't sit down and
Nearly a
think
decade.
about.
Yeah.
You really don't sit and think of how has this friendship benefited me, and what really do I appreciate about this friendship. For me, once you pass, I like to call them your test. Once you pass the test, I'm a pretty reasonable. I like to think I'm pretty reasonable. Some people may say otherwise. Yeah. But I think, as we begin to wrap up, really interesting how time goes. I think these guests could probably be here the whole day, but we can't. What would you guys say in kind of reflecting on everything that we have said, or like the simple joys of friendship? What would you if you were to give 2 simple joys of friendship, what would they be?
How simple are we talking?
One, simple,
Yeah.
and one you have full liberty on.
Okay. I'll go for the full liberty one first. A can of Arizona. As like a drink. I don't know. It's like a part of my childhood, a part of know that, sitting down and drinking Arizona with a friend is.
I forgot to buy them today, actually.
Really?
Yeah, you can maybe buy one.
Arizona, if you're listening, sponsor us. No, but there's something about having something like that, just like a drink, and the times and the memories that surround that moment. I feel like if it adds a lot of joy, sometimes I'd be going through a rough patch. And just like something like remembering something like that helps me get through the day or something, So I appreciate that. Another simple joy. Music, yeah. Sometimes just discovering new artists, listening back to the old songs that you've grown up with that granny used to play while you had a like sweet for Sunday. I don't know, but it listens like something with music and the emotion that it elicits. I think it makes
Sunday morning memories, boy.
Yeah, boy. Like those different things, those simple things add a lot of profound benefit to us, and we don't even realize it. Yeah. So that was it for me. Arizona music.
Sam is Arizona and music. Jonathan, what about you?
I would just say laughter. Like my things aren't like tangible things, but still I would consider them simple. Like just having people that whenever they come around, it's just full of beer laughs. Like it's just beer jokes
Pure
all the
vibes.
time,
Yeah.
So for sure, like laughter is one for me, and just an ear to listen. Someone just sometimes it doesn't even have to be a conversation. Sometimes maybe just be you talking, or it maybe just be you listening, and those may seem like insignificant moments, but they make so much difference. When you look back and reflect on those times. So yeah, those are my 2 things.
I'll try to keep mine simple. But I think, kind of persons who may not know me, this may be a surprise. But one of the things that I really enjoy in friendship is, I'm really competitive in Call of Duty. Yeah, Call of Duty brings out a totally different version of me. Road rage, like, extreme competitiveness. The word that comes to mind is camaraderie, but I don't want to use the word camaraderie, but, just vibing with each other.
Yeah.
Game of COD always works.
Nice.
Especially on a Friday evening after a long week. And I think from one of the simple joys, and Sam kind of alluded in his, little appreciation to me, oftentimes because of the friends that I have, we don't see each other. All of us may very much in Barbados, but we don't see each other that often. So like the one time or the two times, or even if we get lucky 3 times in the year, we see each other.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that we see each other is like always this special moment. Like stories, I don't know how we remember them, but stories from last time we met to the current time we met, it just keeps flowing and flowing. And if we don't catch ourselves, we would spend the entire day, So I think, doing those things, and I think I'll add a third one because, host privileges.
Go ahead.
Simple things in being able to, for example, I don't want to say assist, but do certain things for friends. Particularly, I'm not talking about doing things intentionally because you want back something in return, but just small little gestures. I really enjoy those moments. I don't want to use Sam as an example, but Sam is the most recent one. Right? I remember, we had a meeting for something that you wanted me to speak of in terms of expertise or something. That was this week.
Yeah.
And, I had someone in the car that I had to take them back home, but I was like, you don't have any time. I was jokingly because big 20-something-year-old. I was like, you don't have any curfew to get back home, right? We're going to take home Sam. And, just that moment, right? Just doing something like that. I mean, I actually technically aunt Sam, but then I didn't aunt Sam. It was like an aunt, but not an aunt. And just those simple moments where you're able to assist somebody or able to do something for somebody and absolutely expect nothing in return. You're just doing it because, and the conversation that was had during that drive was what I was needed to survive until Monday when where fresh challenges came, right? I think those simple things, and I find that I'm becoming a man of small gestures. I appreciate small gestures a lot. We have to wrap up.
Sorry.
But I think, final comments, guys, really brief final comments in terms of based on the conversation of Brotherhood, what you would want our listeners to take from this conversation. Very briefly, Sam and Jonathan.
I'll try to be brief. Yeah, try. But be grateful for the people in your life. That's it. Gratitude for what we have. And
And should I add, because you're sticking to the brief, which is good.
Yeah.
And should I also add, include your final thoughts as to why you believe male friendship should be celebrated more openly, and one tidbit as to how they could add to a bit more healthier sense of masculinity.
Okay, so in terms of how the male friendship should be celebrated?
More openly. We could come back to you.
Yeah, get back to it.
I would say to that, saying what you feel in terms of, it was only, again, I've been working on this for a while, to me and Sam even, in terms of you may have so much appreciation, so much love for that person, but you don't ever really say it, So words of affirmation, let's learn your bro know, bro, I love you. If you need anything, if you need to talk to me at any time, I'm here, and not practice that, bringing that into the culture of the friendship. I think that is so much, and I would say examining the friendship and seeing, or even maybe talking to someone that you consider like your brother, and not necessarily by blood, but like through friendship, but talking to them and finding out from them what they think about you or what they see in you that you need to work on, or that you need to work on, and genuinely listening to them and seeing what they have to say, because I think that's a big part of growth.
Yeah,
being able to hear about yourself and taking away the feelings from what they may be saying. You, as much as you may not like to hear it, but taking away the feelings from that and really examining that and seeing if there could be any truth found in that, or because at the end of the day, this person has your best interest at heart, so they're not gonna just tell you things to just pull you down. They tell you things because this is the truth, and sometimes that is what you need to hear. So yeah, again, what Sam said is really good. Appreciate your friendships, and also like self-examination in terms of how you can bring that friendship to the next level.
Yeah, he said to keep it short.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm not going to add. I'm not going to add. I just want to thank you guys. We know the circumstances, particularly relating to this episode, but
Yeah.
we made it.
Sure, for sure.
We made
Oh
it.
yeah, I remember my thing. Get moving. Get moving with your friends. If you play a card all the time, go for a walk or something. I feel like if being active,
I feel the health advocate just
it's a
came out,
shirt.
right?
It's a shirt. It's a shirt experience. I'm gonna help a lot, man. So get moving with your friends.
The health advocate just came out.
In 50 years from now, you will thank me for it.
The gym rat just came out.
Yep.
The gym rat just came out. But thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and I encourage listeners, particularly for this episode, as we celebrate friendships, to feel free to share about their favorite friendships. You could do it on social media if you wish, using the
Most
hashtag
definitely.
WeTalking Boys. I expect to see yours tonight.
Yeah.
Hashtag WeTalking Boys, hashtag Joys of Brotherhood, or even hashtag Caribbean Friendships. Again, understanding that friendships can be a source of strength and resilience in tough times, as we all indicated, and the importance of appreciating and celebrating those friendships that we very much may often take for granted. As I teased earlier, the next episode, we're going to have a very interesting conversation. We're going all the way to Trinidad and Tobago, where we will be having a conversation around being respectfully disruptive, looking at gender-based violence. So again, thank you so much, guys, for joining. And until next time, guys, see you soon.
Stay tuned for more episodes of WeTalking, where we continue to discuss everything Caribbean men and the rich vibes of Caribbean life. Until next time, keep the conversations going and let's make a difference together.